9 UK meat pie brands you should think twice about buying. A deep dive into taste, quality, ingredients, value in the UK market. Meat pies are part of British culture. From football stadiums to family dinners, from petrol stations to traditional bakeries, pies are everywhere in the UK. For generations, brands like Pukka Pies and Ginsters have built strong reputations, while supermarkets such as Tesco and Aldi offer affordable alternatives. But here's the truth most shoppers don't hear: not every meat pie on the shelf delivers the quality, flavor, or value you expect. This isn't about attacking brands. It's about helping UK consumers make smarter choices. Some pies look delicious in packaging but disappoint in taste. Some are affordable but cut corners on ingredients. Others rely heavily on salt, fillers, or thick gravy to mask low meat content. So today, we're diving deep into 9 UK meat pie brands you might want to think twice about before adding to your basket. 1. Pukka Pies. Big name, mixed results. Pukka Pies is one of the most recognized pie brands in Britain. You'll find them in supermarkets, stadiums, and chippies across the country. The issue: gravy-heavy fillings, lower meat percentage than expected. Pastry can become soggy when reheated. Many customers complain that the filling feels more like thick gravy than actual meat chunks. While the seasoning is strong and comforting, some buyers feel they're paying for sauce, not steak. When it works, cheap meal option, convenient and widely available. Familiar taste. When it disappoints, if you're expecting chunky steak pieces and crispy pastry, you may feel underwhelmed. 2. Ginsters. Convenience over quality. Ginsters is known for pasties and pies sold in convenience stores. The problem: often mass-produced texture, overly salty flavor. Pastry sometimes dry and thick. While they are convenient for on-the-go meals, the flavor can feel industrial rather than homemade. Some pies have minimal meat content compared to gravy and filler. If you're after authentic butcher quality pie, this may not be it. 3. Tesco own brand meat pies. Tesco offers budget, mid-range, and premium pies. Budget range concerns: thin meat filling, artificial taste in gravy, high sodium levels. While affordable, some shoppers report inconsistent quality. The premium, finest range performs better, but the cheaper lines can taste processed. 4. Aldi's value meat pies. Aldi is known for low prices, but low price can sometimes mean compromise. Common complaints: very thick pastry crust, sparse meat chunks, greasy texture. Although Aldi offers strong value for money, some buyers feel the pies focus on bulk rather than flavor. 5. Asda Smart Price. Essentials range. Asda budget pies are extremely cheap. Why think twice? Extremely low meat percentage, heavy use of thickener, often bland seasoning. They fill you up, yes, but flavor and quality may not satisfy. 6. Morrisons Savour Range. Morrisons produces several tiers of pies. The Savour range is affordable, but filling can be watery. Meat texture inconsistent. Pastry sometimes overly soft. Not terrible, but not memorable either. 7. Iceland Frozen Meat Pies. Iceland specializes in frozen food. The risk: frozen pies can suffer from soggy bottoms after reheating, artificial tasting gravy, reduced meat texture. If not cooked perfectly, they often lose their appeal. 8. Frey Bentos Tin Pies. Frey Bentos is famous for its tin pies. The concern: extremely high salt content, very thick pastry lid, minimal meat chunks. While nostalgic, many modern consumers find them overly processed and heavy. 9. Pound Bakery Budget Pies. Pound Bakery sells very cheap hot pies. Why think twice? Low meat ratio, often lukewarm when purchased. Inconsistent freshness. They are affordable, but quality can vary significantly. What makes a great UK meat pie? Before buying your next pie, consider: 1. Meat percentage. Look for higher meat content, at least 20 to 25 minimum, ideally higher. 2. Ingredient list. Shorter ingredient lists usually mean fewer fillers and artificial additives. 3. Pastry quality should be flaky, not rubbery crisp, not soggy. Balanced thickness. 4. Salt levels. Many supermarket pies are surprisingly high in sodium. The real difference: supermarket versus butcher. Independent UK butchers often use higher quality meat, provide chunkier fillings, make pastry fresh daily. While more expensive, the taste difference is noticeable. Are all these brands bad? No. They are convenient, affordable, accessible. But if you care about meat quality, want authentic flavor, prefer lower salt and additives, you may want to explore local bakeries or premium options instead. Final thoughts: the UK meat pie market is huge. Some brands focus on volume and affordability. Others aim for premium quality. The key is knowing what you're buying. Next time you're in Tesco, Asda, or Aldi, take a moment to check meat percentage, ingredient list, salt levels, reviews. Sometimes spending an extra pound makes a huge difference in flavor and satisfaction. The meat percentage illusion: one of the biggest surprises for many UK shoppers is discovering how little actual meat can be inside some meat pies. When you read steak pie on packaging, you imagine thick chunks of slow-cooked beef, rich gravy, balanced pastry, but when you check the back label, sometimes the meat content is shockingly low. Many budget pies contain 12-20 meat, water as a top ingredient, starch thickeners. This creates the illusion of fullness without delivering real value. Brands such as Asda Essentials or Savour ranges from Morrisons often focus on affordability, but that affordability can come from reducing meat quantity. That doesn't make them dangerous. But it does mean you may be paying for gravy instead of beef. The gravy masking effect: have you ever noticed how some pies taste intensely savory but lack real texture? That's often due to heavy seasoning combined with thickened gravy. Large manufacturers sometimes use salt, yeast extracts, flavor enhancers, thickening agents. This creates a strong flavor hit, but doesn't require large amounts of meat. Even recognized brands like Ginsters and Frey Bentos have been criticized by consumers for overly salty, gravy-heavy fillings. The result? A pie that tastes powerful, but feels hollow. Frozen vs fresh: the texture problem. Supermarkets like Iceland specialize in frozen convenience foods. Frozen pies are practical, affordable, and long-lasting. But freezing changes texture. Common frozen pie issues: soggy pastry bottoms, separated gravy after cooking, rubbery meat texture when reheated in microwaves, which many consumers use. Pastry often turns soft instead of crisp. Even chilled pies from Pound Bakery can suffer if kept under heat lamps too long, drying out pastry or making filling uneven. The pastry debate: thick vs flaky. A quality British pie should have buttery, flaky crust, firm structure, balanced filling to pastry ratio, but budget brands often use thicker pastry to reduce filling costs, increase weight, improve structural durability in transport. The downside: you might bite through 60 pastry, 40 filling, which feels heavy and doughy rather than indulgent. Salt levels: the hidden concern. Many processed meat pies contain surprisingly high sodium levels. Why? Salt enhances flavor. Salt preserves. Salt makes low meat taste stronger. Some pies can contain nearly half your recommended daily salt intake in one serving. Brands sold widely in supermarkets like Tesco or Aldi may vary significantly between value and premium lines. Always compare labels. Sometimes the premium version contains more meat, less filler, better seasoning. Balance marketing versus reality. Packaging often shows large steak cubes, golden crispy pastry, thick, rich gravy, but food styling for packaging photography doesn't always represent actual filling density. Mass production requires consistency, cost control, shelf stability, and sometimes that means compromise. The stadium pie experience: football fans know pies are part of matchday culture. Brands like Pucker Pies dominate stadium concessions. But here's the thing: when you're cold, excited, and hungry, almost any hot pie tastes amazing. In everyday settings though, you might notice excess grease, thin filling, lack of real meat chunks. Context changes perception. Why do these brands still sell so well? Because they offer convenience, low price, nationwide availability, familiar taste for many families. These pies are affordable weekly meals. And that matters. But affordability doesn't equal premium quality. The rise of butcher artisan pies across the UK: independent butchers and bakeries are seeing a revival. They focus on higher meat content, real chunks, not minced slurry, short ingredient lists, freshly baked pastry. While more expensive, they often deliver a completely different experience. Instead of thickened gravy, you taste slow-cooked beef, real ale reductions, herb seasoning. It's a different league entirely. Are we expecting too much from £1 to £2 pies? Let's be realistic. When a pie costs less than a coffee, compromises will happen. Large chains like Tesco, Asda, Morrisons must meet price expectations for millions of shoppers. That means bulk production, economies of scale, ingredient cost management. The issue isn't that these pies exist. The issue is consumer expectations versus reality. How to spot a better pie in UK supermarkets. Here's your smart buyer checklist. 1. Check meat percentage, aim for 25 or higher if possible. 2. Read ingredient order. Ingredients are listed by weight. If water is first, that's a red flag. 3. Compare salt levels. Under 1 g per 100 g is better than 1.5 g plus. 4. Look at cooking instructions. If microwave only, pastry may struggle. Oven bake usually produces better results. 5. Avoid overly long ingredient lists. Shorter often means less processing. The psychological comfort factor. British meat pies aren't just food. They're childhood memories. Cold winter comfort match. We're talking about how mass production changes traditional recipes, where the meat actually comes from, why some pies taste amazing in ads but average at home, and how you, as a UK buyer, can avoid disappointment. This is the part most consumers never hear about. The industrial pie machine. The British meat pie has humble origins, local butchers, handmade pastry, slow-cooked fillings. But today, major brands such as Pucker Pies and Ginsters produce pies on a massive industrial scale. Mass production means automated pastry pressing, pre-mixed gravy tanks, controlled portion filling, rapid baking systems. Efficiency is everything. But here's the trade-off: when production increases, flexibility decreases. That handmade feel? Hard to maintain at scale. The meat supply chain reality. Most large supermarket pies sold at chains like Tesco or Asda rely on bulk meat sourcing. This often includes trimmed cuts, pre-processed beef, mechanically separated components. In lower ranges, this doesn't mean unsafe. But it can mean smaller, less premium cuts, reduced texture, more reliance on gravy to enhance flavor. Independent UK butchers, by contrast, often use whole muscle cuts, slow braising, on-site preparation. That difference shows in every bite. Why some pies taste better at football matches. There's a reason pies from Pound Bakery or stadium vendors feel satisfying during a match. It's psychological. Cold weather plus excitement plus hunger equals boosted flavor perception. But try the same pie at home. Suddenly, you notice thick pastry, limited filling, slight greasiness. Environment affects taste perception more than most people realize. The salt-sugar equation. Processed pies often rely on salt for savory punch, small amounts of sugar to balance flavor, yeast extract for depth. Brands like Frey Bentos are often criticized for higher sodium content. Why? Salt extends shelf life and enhances lower-cost ingredients. But high salt intake can lead to increased blood pressure risk, water retention, long-term health concerns. One pie may not harm you, but regular consumption adds up. The freezer effect. What really happens? Supermarkets like Iceland specialize in frozen convenience meals. Freezing can break down meat fibers, alter gravy texture, change pastry crispness when reheated incorrectly. Especially in microwaves, pastry absorbs moisture. That's why many frozen pies taste soggy. Oven baking improves texture, but many consumers choose microwave speed instead. Convenience wins. Quality loses. The marketing illusion. Look at the packaging. Golden crust. Huge steak chunks. Thick glossy gravy. Now open the box. Reality can feel different. Food photography uses style fillings, controlled lighting, enhanced texture presentation. Mass-produced pies aim for consistency, not gourmet visuals. Expectations set by marketing can exceed reality. The cost breakdown. Where your £2 goes. Let's break down a typical budget pie. Packaging, distribution, supermarket profit margin, production costs, ingredient sourcing. After all that, the actual meat cost may represent a small portion of the total price. This explains lower meat percentages, increased fillers, thick pastry. Cheap pies survive on volume, not luxury. Are premium supermarket ranges worth it? Chains like Morrisons, Tesco offer premium lines. These often include higher beef percentage, better cuts, real ale or slow-cooked branding, but even premium supermarket pies may not match independent bakery quality. They are better, but still mass-produced. The emotional connection to British pies. Meat pies are not just food in the UK. They represent Family dinners, cold winter evenings, Sunday comfort meals, matchday rituals. Brands like Ginsters and Pukka Pies have built emotional loyalty over decades. That loyalty often outweighs ingredient scrutiny. We trust what we grew up with, even if it's not perfect. When budget pies make sense, let's be fair. There are times when these brands are practical, quick lunch, tight weekly budget, feeding multiple people cheaply, emergency freezer meal for many UK households. Value matters more than gourmet quality. And that's understandable. When you should think twice, you might reconsider. If you care about higher meat content, you want fewer additives, you prefer flaky, buttery pastry, you're reducing salt intake. In those cases, local bakeries or butcher-made pies often outperform large-scale brands. Yes, they cost more, but you taste the difference immediately. The future of UK meat pies. Consumers are becoming more aware. Trends show increasing demand for cleaner ingredient labels, higher welfare meat sourcing, artisan-style baking, lower salt options. Supermarkets may adapt, but large-scale production will always prioritize efficiency. Final reflection: what this series really means. This entire three-part breakdown isn't about attacking Tesco, Asda, Aldi, Pukka Pies, Frey Bentos. It's about awareness. The next time you pick up a meat pie in the UK, pause. Flip it over. Read the label. Ask yourself, am I paying for meat? Or am I paying for pastry and gravy? Sometimes the answer will surprise you. Closing line: YouTube style, Britain loves its pies. But loving something doesn't mean we shouldn't question it. Because once you understand what's inside the crust, you'll never shop the same way again.